You're listening to Podcast PXN, PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo. Let's do this.
What's up, guys? Welcome to Podcast PXN, episode 86. I am one of your hosts, Daniel Prindle, aka Dan is DTM on Twitter, and I am joined over Discord by the illustrious talents of Christian at ISO Christian on Twitter without the H. Don't put it in that H. I've tried that once.
Undo it.
No, don't do it. And the Nintendo aficionado, Roro. Guys, here we are. Thank you for joining us, Christian.
Let's get Ratchet, boys. I'm ready.
Yes. Yes. Thank you to everyone watching us live and participating in the chat. Just as a reminder, we are live each and every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern time on YouTube. Just search Podcast PXN and you will find us on there, as well as twitch.tv/Podcast PXN as well. The topic of the show this week, guys, is a bunch of PlayStation news. But first, the show always starts with the PXN news of the week. So let's go ahead and jump right in. The first item on the PXN news of the week is, guys, you guys are going to kill me for this because I'm going to go on a mini rant here. Yes, Jason Schreier has popped up in my feed in recent days, and if anyone follows me on Twitter, they've seen my rants over the last several days about it. There's some important discussions that needs to happen surrounding some of the things that are happening. So essentially, to give you the high level information, a 343 employee, former employee, basically posted a video in Mandarin. It was in a completely different language that was then translated to English. And then there's some people that were starting to put some news stories out about what he said and saying that Infinite was having problems and saying that the work conditions there were not good and all of this stuff. And the problem is nobody reached out to this guy to actually talk to him about it. He just was posting this video, and it was more in terms of like helping people get into game development. If you actually understood the language he was in, which I don't, he talks about like getting into the industry and helping people out and like just giving experiences about it. And people took it as like a news story and were posting about it in a negative light. And he actually had to post another video to his personal channel that he posted in English. He spoke about it, and he was very upset. And he was visibly upset about the entire situation because he was saying there was all these news outlets that were reporting things that weren't correct and weren't things that he actually said, and overblown, I guess, so to speak. And one of my problems with the whole situation was Jason Schreier. And the reason is because he posted a Twitter post essentially saying, like, what's happening here with Halo Infinite is normal in the industry. Like, this is just another, issue with Halo Infinite. Or he said something to that regard. I don't know exactly because I can't tell you because I'm blocked, of course, by Jason Schreier. And the reason for that is because he can't accept criticism. That is my problem. Jason Schreier, I have never been like, there are people out there that are very crappy on the internet. I am not that. I am always positively reinforcing. So I made comments to him on Twitter on multiple accounts, being very friendly about it, saying, hey, this is inaccurate information. Here's the video that he posted in follow-up, and he wants people to clarify this. And Jason didn't clarify it until I think 2 days later. He posted a long thing, and at the end of it, he said, I'm not ashamed to block Xbox fanboys and all of this, which everyone knows I'm an Xbox fan. I'm not one of those crazy fanboys with the M, the Scorpio, and all that stuff. I'm not that. And it pissed me off because he blocked me on yet another account that when I was pointing out that situation that he didn't reach out to this guy to even follow up on the entire situation. I was just very frustrated. I had to go off about that. I'm not sure. Did you guys see anything of what was going on there or have thoughts on that?
I tried to keep up, and a lot of it was through some of your tweets and some stuff that was trending. And like to Jason's point, there is a conversation that should happen in the games industry about crunch and crunch culture. But the problem here is, of course, you've said it, is the like culture of being the first to press that has been in vogue and is, especially with like the immediacy of the internet, is in vogue right now. Of once you see something, put it out on the site, get clicks, and then edit later, which isn't always like that's not what you learn in journalism school. It shouldn't be that way. And so that's definitely an issue that someone should have reached out to him before publishing something like this.
Definitely. Yeah, I completely agree. That stuff like that where stuff gets lost in translation happens a lot when it is coming from a different language, and that is something that he should have been wary of when doing this story as well. It happens a lot with Nintendo stuff as well, like when it comes from a Japan source and it gets translated over here. I remember a lot of times the Nintendo president would have would say something and then it would be translated here and be like, why would he say something like that? That's so weird, but it makes sense in his language, and I feel like some of that may have been lost in the translation part of this. But I agree with Christian and Daniel that I think he should have definitely talked with the guy first. And I've seen Daniel's tweets as well, like as he said, but I can also vouch for that he is not rude in any way towards anybody. When he's disagreeing with somebody, he's very, very cordial and polite. And I have seen it with other people besides Daniel too, that he's very quick to block, and he is in his right to do that. But I also think as a person in the industry at his level, I feel like he should be a little bit more wary as to who he is blocking, especially when it's the person that isn't deserving. But at the same time, it's his account. He can do whatever he wants, but that's just where I stand on it. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And yeah, at the end of the day, he has to have some kind of accountability because you're in a major position of reporting news, and he does break news a lot, but you got to have some accountability there for sure.
He blocked Paris Lily of all people.
Yes,
a while ago.
really?
Just like, yes, and he was totally polite about what he was saying too. And it's like, why?
Yep.
Why do that? It was weird.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's been reversed ever since, but yeah,
I
remember that being a thing a while ago as well.
He's had a history of just not very pleasant things that I couldn't tell you exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Jason.
I appreciate the rant though.
Yeah. I apologize. Jason, I'm not a fan. Sorry. Moving on to Gearbox, there's a rumor going around, or at least there was, that they were assisting with development for a spin-off Borderlands game, which actually shortly thereafter this got leaked, or whatever you want to call it. Randy Pitchford, who is the head guy at Gearbox, and Roro already does this. He's another one of my favorite guys, Randy Pitchford. He's a real piece of work.
Another person you're not a fan of.
Yeah, but anyways, yeah, it's interesting because he essentially said that Gearbox would be the lead developer on anything Borderlands. So he was essentially squashing these rumors that this was them helping another studio with this Borderlands project. So it does sound like this may be actually legitimate, though, because he just squashed the rumors that it was a assisting thing, that they are going to lead development. So it sounds like we may get a new Borderlands game announced at E3 possibly. So does that excite you guys? Christian, are you a big Borderlands guy?
I'm not, and I've tried, but I think this is great timing if they can release it in the same window as the film they're making as well. I think getting hype around the Borderlands franchise through both those mediums is going to be really cool to see.
True.
I'll try it again if a new Borderlands game comes out for sure.
Roro?
I've also tried, and I am also not a huge fan. I enjoyed my time with 3. I don't think I ever reached credits on that game, but I did enjoy what I played. But at the same time, I didn't enjoy it enough, obviously, to complete it. And I think when Borderlands 4 or whatever the spinoff comes, I don't know if I will try it. We'll see. But I think the Borderlands ship has sailed for me personally. I don't know if I'm ever going to get into that series, but I do love looter shooters, so that's why I had to give it a shot, but just wasn't for me, I guess.
Christian, I liked your little slip in there of the movie industry to kind of coexist with your large popcorn podcast every Tuesday at 9 a.m. Pacific. So
I like movies.
Yes. Anyways, moving on. Nintendo has announced the Switch has sold over 84 million units to date. They are on track for over 100 million this year. Wow. That is a lot of Switches. And actually, I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago that we were just talking about how the Switch is on a faster selling trend than the PS4, the PS5, everything. Like it is going to probably be the best selling console, maybe of all time. I don't know. That's a tall tale, or a tall task, not a tall tale, tall task to live up to. But do you guys think that this is going to surpass the Wii pretty quickly, or what are your guys' impressions on this? Do you think the shortages will have an impact on this at all?
Yeah, because what is the semiconductor? Is that affecting the Switch? Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that'll affect any Switch Pro if that even exists as well. But I mean, still insane to think about that the Switch is on track to maybe surpass the Wii of all consoles.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it will eventually surpass the Wii. I think it can do that, and I think once more, I don't know what Nintendo's plan is with Mario Kart 9, but if they do a Mario Kart 9, I feel like that'll just give it another huge spike. Like there's games that they can do that can even increase it even more. We had such a fantastic year with Animal Crossing, and it just keeps going up. So I think the Switch is going to continue being very popular, and I can definitely see it overtaking the Wii eventually.
The Pokemon games are going to give it a big boost later. Yeah.
And if the Pro model comes,
yeah,
I think it's going to be easy for it to eventually take over the Wii. Yeah.
We'll have some people double dipping for sure. I'll definitely double dip for a Pro, and I'm sure you guys will as well.
Definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
So cool. Next up, guys, Ubisoft has announced The Division Heartland, which is a free-to-play standalone game for PC, PlayStation, and Xbox coming sometime in 2021 to 2022 timeframe. I thought this was interesting because, like, what is this? Like, it's like a completely different game, free to play. So like, but they want to put the Division name on it. So like, does that mean it's going to be like a very like looter shooter game that's going to be free to play, or is it going to be something different? They don't really give us a whole lot of details from their announcement here, but I feel like if they're putting the Division name on it, I feel like it has to have some of those elements. Maybe something more akin to like Borderlands, maybe. But I guess if it's free to play, I don't know how that plays in, because they got to have some kind of monetary value there to get them money. What were your guys' impressions by this? Were you kind of confused by this, or were you excited by this? What was your thoughts?
My initial thought is this is a great way to get people back into the Division like fan base, because I don't know how well the newest season did, and it just launched like a few weeks ago, something like that, maybe a month ago at the latest. But then learning that it's not like intrinsically tied to the Division like has me curious. I really wish I could see the game, then I'd have more concrete thoughts on it. But at least this is like tantalizing. Maybe I'll go back to the Division, or I guess Heartland, with this free to play game.
Yeah.
I was a bit confused, I guess, is the best word I can use for it when I saw it. When I saw especially a Ubisoft original, I was like, this is going to be a DLC, a spin-off, like what is this exactly? And then it said free to play standalone game, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. And this came before the news that came yesterday, I think, with Ubisoft saying they're going to be slowing down on AAA stuff and moving to a more free to play or producing more free to play games. So this obviously lines up with that. I think it could work out really well for the Division going free to play. I don't think the Division 2 is doing that crazy. I didn't know about the new season launching if it did. I've been pretty out of it when it comes to Division, and I think it's done really well for Destiny, which is another looter shooter game. They went free to play, I think last year. I don't remember exactly when, but it's definitely brought in a huge amount of people. But obviously, it, like you said, with the monetization, it does create a more egregious or in your face way to monetize the game, which can turn a lot of people off, and that's why free to play has such a kind of a nasty impression on a lot of gamers. But I think it could be really good for the Division. I think I would be interested in a free to play Division for sure.
Yeah.
What would we think the gameplay is like? Similar to the Division?
I would think so. Like I said, like I don't know why they would put the Division on the game as the title and not incorporate like elements of the game. Like I don't. Yeah.
It's definitely weird. Like I could only imagine Division as it is now.
Yeah.
And to make it the Division Heartland free to play standalone game separate from Division 2. But it's still technically the same game, but free to. I don't know. It's hard. Like Christian said, it's hard to kind of gather thoughts without seeing what it actually is.
Yeah.
But I just assume it's more Division. But
the last Ubisoft free to play game was Hyperscape, that battle royale game that launched not too long ago. And I know that game was like struggling to get like a fan base growing. So we'll see how this pans out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Ubisoft wants to do more of that apparently. According to what they said yesterday.
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely.
We will see.
Yeah. And that kind of scares me. Like I'd rather see like Ubisoft's traditional open world stuff. Like that's what I love from Ubisoft games. Like you play Far Cry, you know what you're getting. You play Assassin's Creed, you know what you're getting. Like that, those games I still enjoy. So like, what does the free to play model, I guess, bring us instead of bringing us those games? I don't know. Another Ubisoft story, guys. Ubisoft has confirmed that Skull and Bones, you know, that one game that got announced like 20 years ago. Okay, not 20, but is being delayed to 2022 to 2023 timeframe. This is not surprising because obviously this is many delays they've had with this game already. And at this point, it sounds like with this delay, it's going to be something more significant. It seems like maybe they're focusing on what this game actually is. I know for a long time, people were questioning whether or not the gameplay was going to keep you interested in this game because you're literally just controlling your boat. Or at least that's what they had said initially when they revealed this game. Whereas you have games like Sea of Thieves where you get the entire experience. You get the boat, the islands, the swimming, the everything. So that was always my question of like what Skull and Bones was. Like, would just the ship combat be enough to keep you excited about the game? So Christian, did this news surprise you, or are you excited to see like what they can turn this into?
Dude, you took my like the notes that I wrote on my Google Doc like almost verbatim. Yeah. One, my first thoughts was like good. Let the game sit in development longer because if it's not engaging enough, then when it releases, it'll could get mixed reviews and that would essentially kill the game, right?
Yeah. When
you already have a game like you said, Sea of Thieves, that it does so many of these systems so well. I love Sea of Thieves. I've got it on Game Pass. It's fantastic. You need to have something that's gonna, compete with that pirate market, and having the gameplay that looks similar to, an Assassin's Creed, which already has that gameplay as well. Is that going to be enough? And so letting that simmer in development a little longer is probably for the best.
Yeah, I totally agree that for the most part, when delays happen, I'm here for it. Take all the time you need to make it something that you guys, that the studio is proud of and that you think that gamers will enjoy. So totally fine with the 2023/2022 delay. I'm excited to see more. I agree what we saw the first time didn't seem like something that would interest me for a long time. Like maybe I would dip my toes in it, but it didn't seem like something that I would have an enjoyable time with for a long time. To kind of give perspective, I tried to see when this was actually announced, and it was the same year Metroid Prime 4 was revealed for the first time. So it's been a while. Yeah. So I hope they can show us something soon.
Yeah, we're getting Metroid Prime 4 any second now. Xbox
Yeah.
said it was coming last year, so
Yeah, any minute now.
yeah,
Could happen right now, any second.
Also, where is Silk Song? I'm
Oh,
waiting
no.
for it.
Cuphead DLC? Anyone?
yeah,
No.
Yeah.
never coming at this point. Guys, EA Sports has announced that they are getting back into baseball by acquiring Super Mega Baseball developer Metalhead Software. This is actually kind of significant because actually I played the original Super Mega Baseball, and I think it was on Game Pass, maybe, or maybe it was Games with Gold or something at one point. But it was actually a pretty solid game, like a solid baseball game. It's more of like an arcadey look, but it has like simulated like physics and stuff. So like it has like the real life feeling, I guess, of baseball, but the looks of it are like very zany and over the top. So this is very interesting because obviously with MLB The Show now coming multi-platform to all consoles and PC, this kind of puts EA in a interesting position where if maybe they can make a deal with Major League Baseball to have their own licensed MLB game, they can pull this developer in and license their content. I think it'll just be interesting to see if they use like licensed teams in the zany, like crazy art style that they have now, or if they're going to try to transition them to be like a MLB The Show competitor. Do you guys think one way or the other? Roro, you may not be as akin to baseball being in Canada. I'm sure that it isn't as big up there. I'm sure it's not really that big in America anymore. But
It's America's pastime. What do you mean?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, but yeah, does this make you guys think one way or the other that they're going to try to mimic the show, or do we think that they're going to try to continue to keep their diversity, I guess, in terms of the gameplay or the looks, I guess?
I could say. Sorry,
Go for it,
ahead,
sir. Okay, I'll go real quick. I don't think that they are going to stick with the cartoony look. I feel like they may try to be a competitor with the show. That's just me thinking trying to think how EA thinks. I don't think they're going to try to do anything creative. They're just going to do what they think is the safe move.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they stopped making NBA Live when 2K kind of took over, and that's something that I really miss. I loved the live games when I was a kid, and if they went back to that, I would probably start picking up the basketball games again. But so if they're going back to baseball, maybe they will do the cartoony thing. But to me, I think they're trying to play it safe. Sorry, Christian, I cut you off earlier.
No, I mean, you said yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I feel like EA would probably try to revolutionize in some way the older games into some kind of something competitive with the show for sure. Yeah.
I agree. And MVP baseball back in the day, you said NBA Live, Roro. I love that as well. MVP baseball was my favorite baseball game back then, and that was made by EA, but they kind of were just like, oh, we don't want to do baseball anymore, and they stopped working on it. And I was like, no, because that was my favorite back then. But yeah, the show seems to be a pretty solid option right now for everyone. So moving on to some Activision news, guys. Activision has announced they are no longer working with the voice actor behind Simon Ghost Riley after many sexist remarks have surfaced. And this comes both from his accounts, his social media accounts, as well as I saw some unpleasant video from like his Twitch streams apparently that he has. I didn't even know about this dude until this came out, but I would not recommend looking this guy up because very, very nasty things that he says, and it's just like, why? And obviously, I don't think this is going to impact the character Ghost from Call of Duty. He literally is just voicing him in a tiny role in the newest Modern Warfare. They can easily recast him, so I don't think this is a big loss. Obviously, we hate this kind of stuff. I mean, I don't know what else to say to that.
His role in Warzone is like tiny.
Yeah.
So yeah, and apparently he's been saying stuff like this for a while, which I just found about like on Twitter, which good for Activision for dropping him.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Definitely. Yeah. Good job. Kick him to the curb. I just searched him up and saw like 2 seconds of video. I'm like, nope, that's enough for me after what I heard him say. So yeah, good for them for getting rid of him. And hope we never see him again.
Absolutely.
I do want to note that this also like says a lot too about the company that Activision wants to be in terms of like Call of Duty, because that fan base can be very toxic. So
pretty much a bunch of versions of that guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah.
And Activision is like going 1,000% into Call of Duty and like nothing else. So it's like,
oh man.
Yeah. Next up, guys, we've got some Xbox news. The Coalition has announced that they are moving to Unreal Engine 5 to focus on next gen with multiple new projects in the coming years. And they also say that there's no announcements coming for some time. So this is a little bit surprising to me. Not a lot surprising. A little bit surprising because they've been on a pretty good cadence with Gears of War. Gears 4 came out, and they actually completed Gears 4 in less than 3 years. Like they had their old studio name was Black Tusk, and then they changed to the Coalition when Microsoft bought the Gears of War IP. They made that game in less than 3 years, which is an incredible testament to what they did there. Rod Ferguson did an amazing job building that team, and Gears 5 again was another 3 years after that. So I had expected that we would see Gears 6 in 2022. That would be 3 years after Gears 5, but now it's sounding like that will not happen. We might get like a teaser at E3 next year, not this year. But it is interesting, but it's also good at the same time because Gears is literally that amazing looking game that Xbox has. That's always the visual amazing masterpiece that you just expect. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart is that for PlayStation 5, as we'll talk about a little later. But yeah, so it's not surprising, but it is exciting that they're working on multiple projects as well. So, guys,
that was a surprise to me.
Yeah.
By the way.
Yes.
Yeah. Which is the most exciting thing about that.
Yeah.
And I had to look this up. I couldn't remember when Gears 5 came out, and I was surprised to learn it was like 2 years ago.
Yep.
2019. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which feels like forever ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm happy they're taking their time again because, like Daniel said, Gears is gorgeous. Like it definitely has a style, but it looks beautiful. I remember when we talked about Hivebusters a little while ago, and when I watched the trailer for that, like, holy crap, how does this look so good? It's like, this is crazy. So them taking their time to make whatever they're going to make, whether it be Gear 6 or something else, I'm excited to see their progress on what that long time looks like.
Yeah, I agree. And like you said, I was literally about to say that after you finished, Roro. You said it for me. I mean, I perfectly said. Some more Xbox news, guys. I want to just say, we talked about this. I don't know if you remember, Roro. We talked about this a long time ago. And this is something that we've all been clamoring for. Microsoft is introducing the console purchase pilot program, which will allow US Xbox insiders on Xbox One to register for a chance to reserve an Xbox Series S or X console. So this is what should have been done from the get-go, in my opinion. Like, this is the way you avoid getting a ton of bots taking away consoles from people that actually want them, like people that don't want to scam people. And this is awesome because it's essentially giving the most hardcore fans, if they haven't had a chance to get them, because the insider program, obviously only the hardest core fans are in the insider program. And then if you're on Xbox One, obviously you haven't gotten a Series S or X yet. So that's very cool that they're going to spin this program up. Obviously, it's not rolling out globally yet, so I'm sorry, Roro, but yeah, this is kind of a cool entry point. And do you guys think that we'll see this stuff kind of happen a little bit more moving forward from Sony and Microsoft, or what do you guys think from this?
The closest I can akin this to is before the PS5 pre-orders came out, Sony sent out an email to just random people saying if you're entered, if you want to pre-order PS5, congratulations, you got chosen as someone who has the opportunity to. What Xbox is doing that's different that I like more is going directly to the dedicated players who want an Xbox Series S or X who are still an Xbox One through the Insider program. And giving them the opportunity to pre-order through that program, which I think is a badass move from Xbox. That's so cool.
Yes.
Yeah. I hope we see more of it so I can, get one of these things someday. But yeah, I think it's a great move from Xbox, and they just keep doing these awesome consumer-friendly moves that I think is fantastic. Yeah, at the end of the day, I hope we see more of it, and I think it is a very good move on their part to make this available. Yes, Christian.
Presumably,
sorry, it's like a teacher calling on us. Yes, Christian. It's like
I am a former educator, so sometimes I have that habit. I don't know. Yeah. Presumably, the pre-order would go through the Microsoft store. Is that correct?
I believe so. Yeah. Because I don't know of any other platform that they would have to buy on there, but yeah, because I think on the Microsoft store now you can buy like all kinds of stuff, including consoles, on the actual like Xbox store.
That's where I got my controller.
Ooh, nice.
Yep.
Nice. Yeah, cool. Yeah, we're very excited about this stuff, and we proposed it months ago. We could just say that they got the idea from us. I mean,
from you guys. Yeah.
I watched an episode like, you know what? That's a great idea.
Yeah. Just kidding. Moving on. The May Xbox dashboard update is out right now, guys, and includes the ability to see what games are suspended with quick resume now. But more importantly, it's getting improved reliability and faster loading times, which is really cool. And also adds pass-through audio for media apps. I know like a lot of people use Disney Plus and Netflix and YouTube and all of that, so that's cool to get that. But the most important thing is we're getting a new dynamic background. I want more dynamic backgrounds, guys. I want a Halo Infinite dynamic background. Please, Christian, make it happen.
Me? I'll Bro, boss. Did you guys see the clip of the OG Xbox like dashboard going around? Like you can do, yeah, that's so cool.
Very cool.
It's just the small things on the Xbox dashboard like that. It just makes that ecosystem pretty cool.
I don't know. I watched the video. I don't know if I had the sound off. I don't think I did, but it would be cool if you could have that background with the OG sounds as well. I have the 20th. I think it was the 20th anniversary PlayStation theme. Never took it off once I got it, because when you boot it up, it does the PS1 sound, and once you're in the menus, it has like the retro PlayStation sounds while you're going through the menu, and I love that kind of stuff. So it's cool that Xbox is doing that, but I'd just like to hear the sounds too. That's just me being picky. I don't even have an Xbox.
Yeah. And correct me if I'm wrong, but did Sony remove dynamic, like their custom dynamic backgrounds and stuff from PS4? Because I thought they had that in PS4 pretty heavily, and then PS5 I feel like they don't have that, or it's limited.
There are no themes on PS5.
Okay, which is weird because it's like you'd think that was one of the cooler parts of PlayStation 4's UI, was like you could put whatever you want on there. Like I think I had Uncharted on there for a long time, just because that music is so good. And now Microsoft's trying to, I guess, catch up to that, but then Sony also needs to catch up to themselves. Mm-hmm. So,
can you change the color on the PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5? No, so not at all. Okay.
I think you get like a dark mode, but that's about it.
Okay, gotcha. Just like because I remember when the PS4 just started, I think you could just do red and like a couple of different colors, and then you got the dynamic themes. So I was hoping maybe they're in the works, but maybe not.
Maybe one day.
Maybe
one day.
Guys,
they would need to like completely redesign the UI of the PS5. I think if they wanted to do themes, which is the issue there.
True. Yeah. And I think Microsoft was in a similar position too for Xbox One. Their original UI that they had was not complimentary for like themes at all. Like it was not very good. The original Xbox One UI was not good. But yeah. Moving on, guys, to some E3, sort of E3 stuff, I guess. I guess you could call this E3, sort of. EA Play Live is coming back July 22nd, and we're assuming Battlefield 6 will presumably be there. And we have gotten a little bit more information about Battlefield 6, and it seems like we're going to get a reveal of that, whatever that means, like a teaser trailer or whatever we're going to get very soon. EA continues to tease that. But they did say that it's going to release between October and December of 2021, which is going to be a hot fall this fall with Horizon Forbidden West, Halo Infinite, Battlefield 6, whatever the next Call of Duty is. It's already filling out to be a really busy fall. So, guys, this is not E3. Let's not say this is E3 because EA does not want this to be called a part of E3, which
I don't get it.
Yeah.
But whatever. Marketing.
Yeah. I don't understand that. It's kind of silly to me why they wouldn't just go a month earlier and just include yourself with the E3 marketing hype. Yeah. Roro, do you have thoughts on EA's poor decision making in that regard?
No, because it's not surprising to me from EA. I'm excited to see more from Battlefield, I guess.
Yes.
But they keep kind of teasing it over and over. So I just want to see it now. But yeah, I mean, EA is gonna EA at the end of the day. But
If anything, having it be in July instead of June, like separate from E3, makes it feel like there won't be as many like big reveals as I would like. Like I want to see an update on the next Skate game.
Yeah.
You know?
That is true. I think a lot of people would love to see an update on the next Skate game. But yeah. Of course, EA will not deliver that because they don't like people. But no, I'm kidding. Moving on, Gabe Newell from Valve has hinted that Steam-only games are coming to consoles. He says we should know more by the end of the year. The weirdest thing about this, he literally delivered this information at some kind of like public school event or something. Like he was on stage talking about this stuff and he just offhandedly said this. I was like, what? At a school? Christian, would this excite you to have some games that are currently only on Steam come to consoles, or maybe Steam itself somehow come to consoles?
I would love that. But at the same time, we're hearing that Gabe Newell dropped this at like some random school makes me believe or think that maybe PlayStation was like, this is the first we've heard of this.
Yeah.
Maybe something that Steam wants to do. But I would love it. Are you kidding me? I want to see games like Phasmophobia on console.
Yes.
You know?
Yes, that would be sick. Phasmophobia is frightening, especially in VR. Oh my gosh.
Especially if we get like future like Discord integration, having Steam games and Discord on a PlayStation console would be killer. It'd be killer.
Oh, a lot of people were even saying like Half-Life Alyx on PlayStation VR 2. Maybe that's a possibility now. That'd be cool.
Would that work though? Since I don't know if PSVR 2 has finger tracking.
I'm not sure about that, actually. I don't think that they've confirmed a ton of information about PSVR 2, but it's funny you mentioned that, Christian, because we do have some information about that in the topic of the show. So make sure people stay tuned for that.
I think this is cool. I love having more options for to play my games. Steam, there's not a lot of Steam games that come to mind that I'm like, yes, I want to play that on my console. But at the same time, Half-Life, that would be awesome. Love to dive into that on console. That'd be really cool, especially for people who don't have access to a good gaming rig. Just having those options there is always great. So
true.
I'm definitely here for that. But this is kind of like your rant earlier, Daniel. Like this guy's just talking at a school like, and you're just reporting on it, like
Yes.
I guess it's Gabe Newell though, but it's a pretty big guy, but at this, it's kind of just reminded me of that, like just an offhanded comment and like,
Yeah.
publish this.
I also want to just point out for our next story, I dropped the ball and I went out of order here. So this would have made more sense before this. But the Guerrilla Collective showcase is back for 2021, guys, and will feature 80 plus games from studios like 505 Games, Innersloth, and more. Innersloth is the developer of Among Us, of course, and 505 Games is the publisher for games like Remedy's Control. So are you guys excited for this? I know I think last year's actually was pretty solid. I remember watching it because I think Kind of Funny kind of assists with the production of this, and it was actually pretty solid event last year. It was definitely better than like Devolver Digital's E3 that they do every year. But yeah, are you guys excited? Is there anything you want to see out of this in particular, or?
I missed it last year.
No.
I caught highlights if I remember right, or just like the recaps from like IGN or just like random stuff on YouTube. This year, I'm more excited to catch this because I have more platforms where I can play, tons of these games. And who knows, maybe like my next game of the year or like future game of the year could show up at one of these. I loved Control, so I am very excited to see whatever 505 does next. Yeah, I'm stoked.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I love the attention that indie games gets at these events. I remember Lake being showed off here. Still waiting for that to come out. I think it's supposed to come out later this year. But yeah, I'm excited for 505's next thing as well. The people who made Among Us, that'll be cool to see what they've got cooking as well. Whether it be more Among Us stuff or something new, definitely exciting. So yeah, I'm on board.
Absolutely. And our last news story, guys, this is from, I believe Christian added this, correct, Christian?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't even see this, actually, because I think this just dropped today, and I'm always terrible at checking my Twitter before the show starts. But apparently Xbox Party Chat will now support transcribing speech into text and synthesis of speech from text, which is very cool. Accessibility wise, that's awesome in terms of, people who need those functions. That's one thing that I feel like Microsoft has done really well with in general is accessibility. They have so many things like the Xbox accessibility controller. I forget what it's called. It's escaping me right now, but they have that. They have so many platform features that have high contrast modes, zoom modes, all these features. So yeah, this is another cool thing to add to this. Yeah.
Exactly. Microsoft is, I think, leading, and I mean, especially in terms of like the console space, leading the accessibility train. As you mentioned the controller already. So seeing the party chat system like integrated with speech to text or text to speech.
Yeah.
Is very cool.
Yeah.
I want to see more of this stuff on other platforms as well.
Yeah. Roro, you gonna use some speech to text action? That was a terrible move if anyone's watching on YouTube. Sorry, I apologize.
I don't know if I will, but I love that it is there, and that for people who do need it and do want to use it, that it is there. And I think that people like Steven Spo, I always pronounce his name wrong, and Steven Saylor, like those people who are really pushing accessibility have brought these issues into the spotlight, and people like Xbox and hopefully PlayStation soon, and just everybody in the gaming industry is kind of noticing that these are important issues. So, and they're following suit, at least Xbox is following suit and making it part of their ecosystem for gamers that need it. And yeah, I every time an accessibility thing comes up, I always say I can't imagine not being able to play video games. And it's awesome that people like Steven are making it possible for, if God forbid someday I wake up and I can't see, they may be an option that I will still be able to play my favorite game. So good for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And you even mentioned PlayStation, like at the platform level, PlayStation doesn't have a ton of stuff, but they do have some stuff. I feel like they could learn a lot if they just brought in Naughty Dog into their system developers, and say, hey, yeah. I mean, Last of Us Part 2 was a phenomenal use of accessibility, and it was lauded for all of the things that they added for that. So, yeah, call up Naughty Dog PlayStation and get some tips.
Or even Insomniac. I think there was we'll get into that.
I was going to say Naughty Dog's busy remaking The Last of Us right now. So.
True. Yes. Moving into the games we are playing, guys, I have played a new game, Scavengers, which we've talked about on this podcast before for news-related purposes. But I actually dove into the early access of Scavengers and actually had a lot of fun with it. It's very interesting. It's very different than what I thought it would be. And it's funny because I was okay, I can't say that part. But anyways, it's very different than what I expected from it. So I played it and enjoyed it very much. The first couple games I played, it was a little iffy. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to like this because we kept running into, it squads you up with people, and we kept running into AI, but we could never find actual people. And I was like, are there actually people on this map? So then I played a couple more matches, and actually we were starting to get into some serious fights at that point. But essentially it's like a battle royale survival game. So essentially you have to get to the end and get on this ship to essentially escape out of atmosphere. And it was very cool to kind of get to those last moments, and you have multiple gun battles on and around the ship, and the timer's counting down till when the ship's going to take off, and you're just it's super intense and very crazy events. So I had a lot of fun with that actually, and definitely recommend it. So if you guys haven't checked it out, I'd definitely recommend checking it out.
I can't stop calling that game Scavengers. I don't know. I'm one of those.
Yes.
Yeah.
Marvel has pounded that in our brains now.
It broke me. Yeah.
Yeah. Roro, what are you playing?
Right now I am playing the new season of, you guessed it, Destiny 2. I know. You probably did not see that coming. Yeah. Every week, Christian, I when they get to this part, I'm like, I'm playing Destiny 2. I'm playing Destiny 2. I'm still playing Destiny 2. But I have a good reason to be playing it right now because the new season came out. And this season is called the Season of the Splicer. So it's all about, or the story is talking about a fallen, or a Lixney, which is the correct term to use. Fallen is apparently a very racist term, so don't call them fallen in the game, not in real life. In the game, don't call fallen fallen. That's rude. It's very rude. They don't like that.
Oh.
So there's a Lixney called Mithrax, who is part of the House of Light. So they worship the Traveler, so they're good. So basically, we're trying to protect them from the Vex, who are doing some bad stuff. So there's a really cool new seasonal activity called Override, where it's pretty similar to Gambit, where you just kill a bunch of enemies, grab some motes, put it into a bank, and you progress that way. There's bosses that come out and you're just shooting a bunch of stuff, which is why I love Destiny. I love shooting a bunch of stuff. But besides the awesome seasonal activity, the story is really picking up really good. We've got some returning voice actresses. Tora. I'm so upset that I didn't research this before, but the Ikora Rey character is back, and she's been dormant for a very long time. She's just been sitting in her part of the tower, so it's really exciting that she's back in the game. And I think they got the actress to come back as well. And Lakshmi 6, who was the future War Cult representative, I guess, is back as well. And they're really introducing some really awesome characters that have just been not saying anything for a really long time. So it's really cool to have them back. So yeah, I'm really enjoying the season so far. The weapons that they're introducing are super fun to play with. So you guys can probably expect that I'm going to be saying I'm playing Destiny 2 for the following weeks again. Besides that, though, I'm trying to find some GBA games to play on my DS that I got a while ago. So I'm still on the search for that. I'm trying to get Sonic Advance 3.
Yes.
Yes, Sonic Advance 3 is so good. I love that game, and it's been years since I played it. I'm just trying to find an appropriate price because every time I find it, it's like, holy crap. But Amazon has it for like $30 to $40, so I may just cape it and do it there. But I'm obviously looking for Advance Wars, and that, holy crap, $300 for Advance Wars, so no. But I'm excited to play Sonic Advance 3 soon, whenever I get a hold of it.
Are you excited for Vault of Glass and Destiny?
Oh yes, how could I forget that? Yeah, that comes out May 11th. It's this month. It's like in a couple. Yeah, I'm trying to remember the exact date, but I think it's either next Friday or the Friday after.
Wow.
But yeah, I am so excited to play that again, dude. Oh man.
Yeah,
that's gonna be
great.
Fantastic raid. Yeah.
Dan, you got to get in some Destiny.
I was a huge Destiny 1 fan. I had hundreds of hours of Destiny 1, but then Destiny 2, I played quite a bit at launch, and then I lost all of my time because I went into the real world, and now I have no time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it sucks. I would love to play Destiny. Like, that's my problem with Destiny. I love the gameplay and stuff, and I would love to go and play hundreds of hours. I just don't have hundreds of hours to play. Of course, I say that as I play Master Chief Collection every week. But anyways, go ahead.
I was going to confirm the release date. May 22nd is when Vault of Glass comes out.
Nice.
So it's
next week, right? Next Friday?
Next weekend, yeah. Next Saturday.
Saturday, okay.
Very exciting.
Christian, what are you playing?
I've been gushing about this game on Twitter a lot. It's my game of the year. I've been playing tons of Returnal. Wow. I beat it last week with 12 deaths. 2 of them were my console's fault, so 10 deaths is what I like to say. I am going through right now to get like all these fragments for the secret ending. I just achieved them, so now I have to like play the final boss and see the final cutscene. So I'm very excited to do that this week. And then today, Ro was asking about this pre-stream. I've been thinking about switching out my stream on Twitch. I was like, what can I do? And so I said, well, let's play some old games. And I went down to my storage and I pulled out my PS1 and my N64.
Oh, wow.
And so I'm going to do some testing to see if I can, play through the Metal Gear Solid games or, play some Ape Escape or, I've never beaten Majora's Mask. So that'd be fun to do. So yeah, I've got options now. Should be fun. Retro Tuesdays.
That's awesome. I'm assuming you're gonna need a bunch of adapters to get that to.
Oh, I've got them.
Oh, okay. Sick.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Yeah. Where can people find you, Christian, to watch that?
Ooh, good plug. Thank you. Twitch.tv/ISOChristian.
All right.
Come hang.
Moving on to the topic of the show, guys, the PlayStation show, as I'm going to call it. But Epic has this is another item that has come out of this whole Epic versus Apple ordeal. Epic apparently tried to pay $200 million for PlayStation PC games to come exclusively to the Epic Games Store. This is a lot of money. I'm surprised that Sony didn't just take this offer right away. Like, yes, please, $200 million. Does this surprise you? Do you guys think that them releasing Horizon Zero Dawn on Steam made more than $200 million? And I know I think they've released a couple of other games. I'm trying to think of what else they've released on Steam.
Have they released the numbers at all? Yeah, Death Stranding.
Death Stranding, yeah. I don't think they have, but I don't know. I guess I would just want to see the numbers, and see that compared to this $200 million offer by Epic.
I mean, knowing PlayStation, they probably loop in the numbers from Steam purchases into this game made X amount of money. That just seems like a very Sony thing to do.
Yeah.
I don't know how this translates to money, but apparently the PC version of Horizon Zero Dawn sold 716,000 copies digitally on its release month.
So,
yeah,
716,000. I would say it was at least $50 at launch. So that's $35 million. I mean, that's not.
Yeah. So, not 200 million.
No,
not 200 million.
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess with that information, yeah, I am surprised that they didn't just take the deal. But I don't know. I don't know how. I know a lot of gamers don't like the Epic Game Store for whatever reason.
Right.
Maybe they were trying to avoid quote unquote bad press by just releasing it everywhere. Because in honestly, that is a good move to have it on Steam, to have it on Epic. That's better for everybody. But it is interesting that they didn't take the 200 million for sure, especially with what we talked about last week with them wanting all this money from Epic to do crossplay and stuff like that. They seem to be very stingy about that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
Yeah, they're very hesitant when it involves anything to do that's not their own platform. So I can see this easily just declining this, being like, no, sorry.
True. And who knows what the other stipulations were for this? They might have had some crazy stipulations like release Uncharted on Epic Game Store. Maybe they're not wanting to do that kind of leap. So I don't know. Our next story, as Christian alluded to this earlier, PlayStation VR 2 will reportedly include 4K display with eye tracking and haptic feedback. So they don't talk about whether it has finger tracking or not, which that'll be interesting to see. Obviously, for Half-Life Alyx possibilities, that would be important. But yeah, the resolution is actually pretty significantly higher than anything on the market right now. The Oculus Quest 2 currently has the highest resolution screen, I believe, which is 1832 by 1920 per eye, which that sounds weird, but and this would increase that to 2000 by 2040 per eye. So a little bit of a step up from the display that the Oculus Quest 2 has. Do you guys think that this next gen PlayStation VR headset is going to? Do we think it's going to light the world on fire? I think the problem that I had with the original PlayStation VR headset was that there was just too many things going on with it. There was too many cables, too many adapters, it was the same problem that I have with Kinect on Xbox, any Xbox after Xbox One X, because you have to have like 20 adapters to get it to work. And I was like, this is not worth it. But yeah, do you guys think that the second iteration of their VR headset's going to take off at all?
I think it'll depend on the games, and we'll talk about it a little bit later with another news item you have down there. The features itself, though, I love, because will be the one of the top of the line headsets once this releases. Is that correct? With the high resolution, I think the haptic feedback is going to be a huge one for immersion. Having only one cable, I know there's gripes that like people want this to be wireless, but one cable isn't as bad as the original PSVR. So for me, this is an absolute win.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And I that's exactly what I was going to say about the games things. Like, for this to light the world on fire, I think the software needs to be lighting the world on fire first. But yeah, I think the all this that you read sounds fantastic. As it only gets better when there's less wires and there's less things in your face. It just is more immersive that way. So it's awesome that they're reducing it to one. But yeah, I am excited to see more, and I'm excited to see what games they have cooking, because I have yet to play a VR thing outside of an arcade, and I would love to get an Oculus maybe, or maybe this someday.
Yeah. It's very interesting. I don't know. Everything. It's just very interesting to see how this is going to do, and I think that it's going to probably ultimately come down to price. I know a lot of it is like how good it is, but like it also matters how much it is, because like the PS5 is $500. That's not a light thing in of itself. And then if this is another $400 to $450 or whatever it ends up being, it's a lot of money. Where especially when you have competitors like the Quest 2, which I believe starts at $200 now, maybe. 300?
Yeah,
200 or 300? I'm questioning.
Well, for me, it's going to be different, I think.
That's true. Yeah, your price is different. I think it's $299, so it's 300.
The more I read about this thing, and Dan, you're absolutely right, is the one biggest thing that worries me is cost.
Yeah.
Like, unless Sony's gonna be willing to eat a huge cost, which I'm not sure how much they'll want to do that. This thing is going to cost like a big chunk because it's more. The resolution is better than the Valve Index, and the Valve Index is like almost $1,000, or it is $1,000, something like that. So I don't know.
And the hardest thing with that too is like the publishers oftentimes take a loss on consoles and then make up for it in software sales. But the hardest part about that with a VR headset in doing that is the VR games 9 times out of 10 are not $70 games. They're usually like $20 to $30 games or $40 games. Typically we don't get $70, full experience VR games. So that, I guess that would kind of factor in as well if they can't make up the sales in terms of, software sales. But yeah. Guys, moving on, Herman Holst, who is now the head of PlayStation Studios, formerly of Guerrilla Games, says that 25 first-party titles for PlayStation are in development for PlayStation 5, and nearly half are new IPs. This is a lot. So very, very exciting that they're continuing to invest in first-party games. And obviously, not all of these are going to be, your Uncharted's or your Last of Us or like the big tentpole franchises. A lot of these are going to be, smaller indie titles or partnerships or whatnot. And we've even talked about a couple of those the last couple of weeks from studios that are working on PlayStation games. But nearly half being new IP is very exciting because that never happens in the industry, I feel like, anymore. We keep getting sequels and sequels and sequels. And as someone who loves Halo, I love my sequels and sequels and sequels to Halo, but I love seeing the new stuff as well. I like seeing what new ideas developers can come up with. So is this exciting for you guys, like for the future of PlayStation 5?
Dude. Absolutely. You have no idea how happy I was to read this, especially when you consider 2 weeks ago we had the news of the Last of Us remake. Thank God we're getting some new IP on the way. Because I love supporting small and interesting ideas. This is why I love Returnal so much. You don't see stuff like this. Yeah. My thought was maybe some of the PSVR 2 titles might be included here. Yeah. I'm not sure. Who knows? Maybe they aren't. Either way, getting new games is very exciting.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm excited for new IP, especially from PlayStation, where I love their exclusives and just the worlds that they have created. Just speak to me personally. But yeah, like you said with the Halo stuff, this is how we get new Halos. You make new ideas, and then we get sequels out of those, and those might be the new generation's Halo. They grew up with that and they love it just as much as you love Halo. So it's awesome that they've got 25, you said, new ideas in the bucket. So yeah, awesome.
Yes, very good news. Guys, Ratchet and Clank have gotten a new big preview that a lot of people have been talking about online. And oh my freaking goodness, looks so good. And I put on here most likely last big one before launch. I'm sure, Christian, I think you have some thoughts on that. But I think it may be the last big media push, I guess.
Oh yeah.
But in terms of we'll still have reviews and stuff like that. But I'm very excited. I'm sure you guys are as well, but I'll talk about that here in a little bit. But just from your first glimpses of these new screenshots and gameplay that we've gotten from Ratchet and Clank, how excited are you guys for this?
I told myself today I wouldn't watch any of these videos, and then I watched the B-roll, and then I couldn't stop watching the B-roll because it looks insane. The movement in this game is mind-blowing. I still can't get over the way the dimension grappler works, because it's not the traditional grappling to a point. It's literally pulling the world towards you, and it breaks my brain every single time. I can't wait for this game.
Yes. Yeah. God, dude, it looks so good. I cannot state how amazing this thing. It's one of those games that makes in my opinion makes me so happy that I'm alive. I get to experience this one day. It's just it's insane how beautiful it looks. Like Christian was saying, the movement, it's insane. I was thinking about it today. Insomniac just has traversal down so good. And I was like, I don't think I've ever, maybe in Ratchet and Clank I did, because it's a bit more linear and there's times where you have to fast travel. But I'm like, I don't think I've ever fast traveled from 2016 Sunset Overdrive to Spider-Man. I just love moving around in their games. And this looks like it's going to continue that. Rivet is cute as heck, dude. I love her so much. So yeah, I'm so excited to dive into that story. Obviously, who knows when I'll be able to with PS5 not wanting me to own it. But yeah, I'm just blown away with what I saw, and Insomniac is killing it, dude. Killing it.
Man, and people often talk about, like, I've seen so many people make this comparison, but my goodness, I believe it, and it literally looks like Pixar. You're playing Pixar.
Yes.
And actually, it's funny. I tweeted that out, and then a little later, I saw somebody else tweeted, well, we've heard this before, and apparently every single Ratchet and Clank game back to, I think, like 2006 or something, not every single one, but like back to 2006, they had screenshots of people saying, well, this looks like live Pixar. This is the first time I actually believe that this looks like literally looks like Pixar. Like, it looks unbelievable. I don't even understand how it's possible.
Every now and then, a game will come across where it's like, this is it. This is like the best games we'll ever look, and like this is one of them, because I can't believe how dense the environments in this game are going to be. Yes. Like, I don't believe it, and I know it's real. It's in-game footage, but I still don't believe it. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember the last time we talked about it, but I am just going to echo what I said last time. But I remember when we saw Spider-Man 27, the first Spider-Man game from Insomniac, the first time.
Yeah.
And we were watching the trailer for that, and I was like, there's no way this is gameplay. There's no way. And it was. And I'm getting the same feeling again with this. Like, there's no way I get to play this. But yes, that's somebody controlling Rivet right now. It's crazy.
Yeah, and she looks awesome as well. Like, she had some cool gadgets that I've never seen Ratchet use before, which that's very exciting. She was kind of like riding the rail or whatever. I thought that was kind of cool. But and to your point, Christian, how they're able to put so much density on the screen. I have a quote from James Stevenson, who's, I believe, the creative lead at Insomniac. No, community director. I was completely wrong. Community director at Insomniac, and essentially he says on the SSD, we unload the things that are literally behind you from a camera perspective. If you spun the camera around, we could load them before you see that. That lets us devote all of our system memory to the stuff in front of you right now. So like, cool. That's why this looks so good, because they literally only have to render whatever you're looking at straight ahead. Normally with games, you have to render everything around you, because you have to, when you turn, you can't have like pop in, but because of how the speed of the SSD, when you turn, it loads the game as you're turning, which just blows my mind.
This is what I mean about breaking my brain, dude. I can't fathom having to like build this in your engine. I just don't.
Yeah.
Wow.
Incredible.
I wanted to note too that the preview had a little bit of accessibility stuff that I thought was like really cool. And I know they're gonna do a deep dive on it later, but some of the initial like feedback has been, or not feedback, I guess, like the initial preview of it has been like, whatever accessibility options you choose, it won't affect trophies. That's one thing that I found great. And the other was you can apparently control the speed at which the game plays. So if you need to play at a slower percentage, you're able to customize that, which I haven't seen before, and I don't think any other games. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, that is really cool. I love, I'm sure you guys echo this, I love seeing like new accessibility options, like things that developers didn't think of before, like, hey, how can we do this differently? Like, I always think of the example of Grounded, where they changed the spider from looking like a spider into just like essentially a circle, which is funny. But like, just the crazy stuff like that developers come up with to I guess, for accessibility purposes is really cool. But
yeah.
Anything else, guys, before we close out the show?
I'm just so excited, dude. I'm watching the gameplay as we're talking about it here. I'm like, oh my god. Oh my god.
And that's soon. That's what, like 3.5 weeks away, something like that.
Yeah, I think it's
I guess a month, June 11th.
June something. Yeah, is it June 11th? Oh man, I'm
Is it a Friday?
It's an E3 month, I'm pretty sure as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh,
So many games. I have Mass Effect coming out like tomorrow. I need to buy and download that.
yes, and I haven't even played Resident Evil Village, and I have that too.
Me either.
So yeah, so much stuff, guys. All right, well, I guess we'll reluctantly move away from Ratchet and Clank. Thank you again to everyone joining us both live on YouTube and on Twitch, as well as podcast services everywhere, including Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, SoundCloud, Spotify, and Stitcher. Thank you, Roro. Thank you, Christian. If you want to follow Christian, at ISO Christian on Twitter, no H. Anyways, I am Daniel, and this has been Podcast PXN, and we are out. Much love, and keep on gaming.
Bye, everyone.